All right, joining us now is a smart guy, Michael Graham. I've known him for years. I work with him up in Boston. He's at the Boston Herald. He writes a column. But more importantly, I love the Herald, but he's a contributor at CBS News who badly needs Mr. Graham on their payroll. First of all, in my advice to President Trump on how to present his case tonight, did I overlook anything or did I mention anything that didn't sit well with you?
Solid, except I would really highlight at the end the lack of solutions from Democrats. And I thought the first thing, by mentioning up front, we've tried stuff, and then saying, okay, Democrats, where are your solutions? You put Democrats in a bind, because one of the things that I've been covering, and I've been writing about this for a while, is how Democrats have boxed themselves on the issue of deportation. You've heard, Bill, I'm sure for the first time from Democrats ever, well, the real problem is people overstaying their visas. Suddenly, the Washington Post and the New York Times care that 2 out of 3 illegal immigrants get here by getting a visa and then just refusing to leave when the time comes. Well, I think that's great. They're talking about it. What's the solution to that? There's one solution: deportation. Unfortunately, Democrats are the home of the hashtag Not One More movement. They think deportations are inherently immoral, just like the wall. So your idea of forcing the conversation back to Democrats and saying, okay, fine, you hate my wall, what will you do? I don't think Democrats have an answer.
And I don't think Americans understand that we have tried to stem this illegal immigration and narcotics. And I can't emphasize enough how important the narcotics thing is. Because there you really have a national security problem. And you have nothing being done about it other than the Border Patrol agents who are besieged. Every single Border Patrol agent, all right, that I've interviewed, and I've interviewed a lot of them, okay, says the same thing: we need a wall. There's no dissent in the union. There's no dissent. We need it because we are overmatched down here. When you have billions of dollars in profits from heroin, cocaine, and methamphetamine, they're going to continue to do it even if we seize 30% of it. So, but what you're up against,
because
go ahead.
Well, I can add to that, because New Hampshire is either 1 or 2 when it comes to the impact of the opioid epidemic.
Sure.
And the Republican governor up there, Chris Sununu, just instituted this new hub and spoke approach where they're being forced to build and man offices in virtually every community in the state to pull people into the system because the problem's so widespread. Virtually all of the opioids they get come from the border town of Lawrence, Massachusetts, which is a sanctuary city whose leadership is openly welcoming to illegal immigration and openly opposes immigration enforcement and has a large population. Most of the people who are not native born are legal immigrants, but there's a significant illegal immigrant community, and that's where the gang community is based. And that's why New Hampshire, that's this funnel for the drugs that are coming to New Hampshire.
And it has been for many years. And the rate of addiction in Lawrence and Lowell and North Massachusetts communities is through the roof itself. I mean, and you're right. I mean, they don't care. They have no problem. Now, one of the elements that the Democrats have to prevent the wall is the press. And the press is a little nervous. They didn't want the networks to give President Trump the time tonight at 9 Eastern. They didn't want it. Roll the tape on that montage.
I think it should be, I don't know, a delay of some sort. And then you can, because people believe it. The president will say what he has to say. People will believe it, whether the facts are true or not.
I expect the president to lie to the American people. Why do I expect this? Because he has been lying to the American people, and his spokespeople continue lying to the American people.
They didn't have the audacity to say, yeah, tune in, there's news. I heard from a White House official that there would be no news. There is no penalty to monitoring the stream of words and sounds coming from the president's mouth and checking them first, is there?
Okay, so that's what's going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be on the issue that the Democrats really have a weak policy proposal. I don't know if they have any policy proposal. Right. It's going to be Trump lied. So they'll find some seam, which is why the president has to be very, very careful tonight. I assume his speech has been vetted. I assume all the advisors have gone over it. I want to see him be very methodical in the presentation. It's that important.
But have you ever seen President Trump remain disciplined and methodical?
A couple of times.
A couple of times, very rare. Even when he has a speech prepared, he likes to go off the cuff. He likes to roam around a bit. And that's That's who he is, though, and it's
I
so
know
hard
that,
to
but
fight.
when I interviewed him, I think more than anybody in the campaign. He was much
Right.
more disciplined with me than he was with most of the others, because every time he wandered, I'd say, no, no.
Right.
Can you back that up? Now, I suspect tonight that he's going to be more exact in his language than you've seen him. He has to be, because he can win this. The president can win this. I firmly believe most Americans want border security. They're not happy with what's going on down there. But he's got to win it. He's got to bring it to the other side. And to do that, can't make any verbal mistakes.
I don't know where the American people are, but I do know that I hear from a lot of normal people, that is, Bill, people not like us, who they don't watch cable news. They're just normal people. And they say, why can't there just be a deal? This is so silly. What is it, like $4 billion? As huge as that number sounds, most Americans know that that's nothing in the grand scheme of the budget. In fact, it takes about 9 hours for the government to spend $4 billion. And so they don't understand why this gap. And I think that goes back to your notion that he can win this. I don't think Democrats have any interest at all in any kind of deal at all. I think they want to see the government shutdown slam into a wall. It's easy to solve. The $4 billion is nothing. They could get a DACA deal to go with the $4 billion. Would be a sweet deal for Democrats, but they're not interested. They're interested in crash.
Okay, but what that's going to do, Michael, is that's going to give President Trump momentum to win re-election. If the majority of Americans understand that there has to be border security and the wall is the best way or the only way, we haven't tried yet, everything else has failed, and the Democrats continue to oppose for political reasons and call everybody who supports a wall a racist, Trump has that's a good advantage. He's been on the defense. This can make him on the offense, give him momentum. And it's politics. Both you and I know it's politics. The Democrats, as you said, could easily make a deal to reopen the government and give him most of the funding because, $5 billion isn't going to do that much. This is just the beginning. But the Democrats think they're going to win this political argument. And Trump has to make it clear tonight, you're not going to win. I'm going to win. And then Trump is a big downside because he's got to stand firm or his base is going to say, guy doesn't have enough cojones to fight them. So he can't back off.
Let me ask you a question then as a reporter, because I'm writing about this for the Boston Herald. And I want to ask you, the debate I'm having with people on the right is there anything Trump can do that will actually cost him among his supporters? The new numbers are out yesterday from Morning Consult. 84% of Republicans still support President Trump. And there's a debate. Even if he walks away from the wall, would his followers abandon him, or are they so invested in the Trump image and brand and their relationship that they feel with him that it really doesn't matter and he can get away with not getting the wall?
No, he is a strong man. And I use that term in the political sense.
Okay.
He has to stand firm on the wall. He has to get something done. Now, if the Democrats just basically say, as Nancy Pelosi did, we'll give you $1. So what he's going to do is say, okay, it's a national emergency, and I'm going to use funds, discretionary funds in the Homeland Security budget, and the Army Corps of Engineers is going to go down and start to build. That's what he's going to do. And the Democrats can scream and jump up and down. Trump is staking his political future on two things, Michael. The economy. So the stock market can't go south and there can't be a recession, all right? And national security. That's what he's staking his reelection on. Two things. And his base, would they abandon him? Maybe not to the extent that it would be a catastrophe, but he'd lose some support, and he can't afford to lose any support.
Yeah.
All right, he's only
you're
42,
right.
43. That's all he is.
And you can't look at the map for 2020, which obviously, since I cover New Hampshire, we cover a lot of 2020, stuff already. You can't find a place on the map where he's gaining ground. And so that's the question: is if Trump loses a state like Pennsylvania or Wisconsin or Michigan, where does he go to make it up? He's got to hold, at a minimum, the coalition that he came in with.
Yeah.
And some interesting polling
and this
data.
is a good issue for him because, again, the Democrats look foolish. Whenever the Nancy Pelosi goes out and says the wall is immoral, or any other Democrat pundits say you're a racist if you support the wall, most Americans go, you're a bunch of idiots. And I may not like President Trump, but I don't want to vote for somebody like you. So this is a winner for him. Hey, Michael, we really appreciate it. You can check Michael's stuff out at cbsnews.com and the Boston Herald. And thanks a lot for taking the time.